Kashmir dispute is the outcome of the denial of right to self-determination by India to the Kashmiri people, which has been guaranteed to them by the United Nations through its 18 resolutions adopted on different occasions. India has not only trampled the right of self-determination of the Kashmiris, but it has also snatched all the political, social and religious rights to the subjugated masses. To crush the popular voice of the people, it has broken all the records that fascist regimes had set against freedom-loving people. Over 700,000 trigger-happy occupation forces equipped with vast powers are round the clock engaged in systematic genocide of Kashmiri Muslims. Besides killing over 100,000 Kashmiris, Indian occupation forces have committed heinous crimes to silence the oppressed people into submission. One of the horrible consequences of Indian state terrorism is enforced disappearances of Kashmiri youth. A disappearance is a crime against humanity, as defined by the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, into effect on 1st of July 2002. According to this, disappearances are not permissible even in wartime. These words lose meanings in occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where the syndrome of disappearances is prevalent and unheeded to. Indian forces pick up young Kashmiris moving about on roads and streets or working in the fields or in their shops for interrogation, and the victims vanish forever. Most of these persons have been arbitrarily arrested during siege and search operations, commonly known as crackdowns, without any discernible reason.
हर जेल हिंदुस्तान के कोने-कोने में जेल उधर ढूंढने गए, मगर कोई इंसाफ नहीं, ना किसी जगह मिला. उसको डिमांड किया वो कमीशन बिठाओ या हमारी प्रूफ करो, अगर हमारे बच्चे मरा हुआ कम से कम डेड बॉडी दो, ये कुछ नहीं बोल.
According to the Association of Parents of Disappeared Persons, the Organization of Relatives of Missing Youth, over 10,000 persons have been disappeared by different Indian agencies, most of them married males. Although men have been subject to disappearances largely, women have also suffered because of being related to them as daughters, sisters, mothers, and wives. The unending wait is nerve-wracking for parents, siblings, life partners, children, and friends for whom the tragedy lies in an unending vigil for the missing persons. The void is so painful to bear that often the close relatives are pushed to the fringes of human sanity. Encountering the ebb and resurge of sanguinity over a period of time, the kin of the missing are a shattered lot, emotionally as well as economically. The elderly parents whose breadwinners have disappeared are the worst sufferers. Even some parents die in shock. The woes of the aggrieved are too many. Their plight cannot simply be imagined. The most worrying aspect of the problem is the unending weight of the wives of the victims. This issue is eating into the vitals of the social setup. In the absence of any information about the whereabouts of disappeared consorts, their wives have acquired the title of half-widows. The crime is loaded with social implications too. These women have to assume the role of breadwinners for their families, and the future of their children becomes insecure. This phenomenon is also tied to the recent scandal on disappearances and fake encounters that have brought to light the killing of innocent Kashmiris by Indian forces. The youth are killed, passed off as foreign militants, and buried secretly to hide their identity. The mysterious disappearance of carpenter Abdul Rahman of Kokanag and his subsequent death in custody exposed the whole drama and landed the valley in shock.
The Gandhabal killings establish that innocent people, been picked up, made to sort of disappear or abducted and killed and then branded as terrorists and Pakistani terrorists. And now it's been found out that these were people, carpenters, journalists, in fact one was even, I think, a journalist, ordinary people who were just picked up to fulfill, in a sense, the temptation of kill lists for which you are awarded. But it's also part of a larger problem of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act and the impunity or the culture of impunity that it generates, because under the Armed Forces Special Powers Act you can kill on suspicion. And this is in a sense why the number of disappearances is huge in Kashmir.
Indian forces are undaunted enough to pick up innocent youth in full public glare and dump them behind the horrible interrogation cells to extort money from their guardians, or else lay them dead without any compunction or fear of punitive retribution of law.
In the Koria area, just 2 years back, one day bride goon who was married just 2 days, 1 day, or only one night actually, he was arrested by the army and his mine was planted and he blew up into pieces, right? When the family came here, there was a hue and cry. People thought, what after that? Nothing. We came here, I filed a writ petition. Even the most shocking thing for me as a lawyer who filed a writ petition, seeking mandamus from the court that these perpetrators be taken to justice according to law of the land. And they lost interest. They lost interest simply because they had no faith on the system, on the institutions, and the second, that they feel very vulnerable. They can't anymore give any resistance.
Skeletons are tumbling out of the cupboard one after another. These incidents shattered the relatives of disappeared youth who presume that their missing relatives had been killed in the same fashion by occupation troops and buried secretly in unknown graves. The stunning facts of fake encounters were brought to light by Association of Parents of Disappeared Persons. After the year-long survey of different areas, the association compiled a report titled Facts Underground, issued on March 29, 2008. The findings that appeared in a report reveals that 940 unmarked graves have been found in 18 villages of Uri district only.
पहले हम 95 में छोटा था, आज तो बड़ा हो गया, 10 साल हो गए, बहुत डर जाते थे पहले तो जब हमने देखते अब हमारा दिल भी पत्थर जैसा बन गया। देखते इतनी हालत खराब होती है इनकी, चेहरा नहीं, एक दिन एक बॉडी, उसका सर बिल्कुल अलग था, वो पेशा नहीं जानता, वारिस भी नहीं निकलते, पता नहीं हमें कि सिविलियन है, मिलिटेंट है, कौन है ये पता नहीं। वहाँ से आते हैं और छोड़ते हैं अस्पताल में कि ये इनकाउंटर में डेड बॉडी मिलिटेंट है, वो है ये, हमको वो पता नहीं।
The shocking revelations of these unnamed graves stunned the Kashmiri people and the international community. Following the developments, the EU Parliament, comprising 27 countries at its plenary session in Strasbourg, unanimously passed a strong-worded resolution on the 10th of July 2008, calling upon the Indian government to urgently ensure an independent and impartial investigation into all sites of mass graves, and as an immediate first step to secure the grave sites in order to preserve them.
Today we have a huge majority which is behind this resolution in the Parliament, because we're calling on the Indian government to have an independent investigation, and that everybody should now cooperate on this particular process.
The Indian government's continuous denial to allow the international human rights organizations to visit Kashmir is testimony to the fact that there are many skeletons in her cupboard. That fact induces it to resist their visit.
The recent 940 graves which have been found in the town of Uri is a clear indication that army camps are being used as burial grounds for killing and burying innocent people. And the concern among the common Kashmiris is that this is only one camp which has been exposed, and we have found more than 940 graves in that camp. The number of camps, such camps, which are running in and across the state of Jammu and Kashmir has crossed the mark of 350. So there is a lot of concern among the common man and among Kashmiris whose kiths and kins have been disappeared in the last 20 years, that where are their whereabouts. And the international community should come forward and take up this issue very seriously with the government of India, and a special investigation team should be sent to Kashmir to look into the killings and the disappearances of hundreds and thousands of people who are missing since 1990.